Most everyone dead or gone. Or, rather, everyone except the Joneses at the end of the street, who'd been away on vacation when the outbreak happened. Lucky them. When we arrived, Dr. Cerrone gave us the news, the fate I'd thought we avoided. Lyle seemed unmoved, not like he was in shock, but like he had accepted it in his quiet place, some time ago. Dr. Cerrone gave us her best guess about the timeline based on the other patients they'd been studying. I was not pleased. And then we went home, to live out what remained of the time we had together.
Part 1. The Drain. Lyle. 7 years prior. I want to remember back before the outbreak, before the virus, before I had even known the life I would come to know, before Jude. I want to relive it like it's happening all over again. Perhaps living again in this way is the beautiful death we all deserve. When the sun turns reddish-orange instead of yellow, and the clouds tint the same, and shadows are flung off the high school away from the light, and you're all alone on top of the huge drain that keeps the pond from overflowing with muck, that's the perfect time to light a cigarette. Perfect weather, too. The warmth of spring after a long chill. It had been a rough year for me. I wasn't failing, but my grades were good enough to get me rejected from a third college. I'd applied to 5. The end of my cigarette matched the color of the sky, burning on every inhale. I sat on the drain. Cigarette butts dotted the cement behind me. There was a strip of trees and brush behind that, and a new metal fence guarding the whole space except for where the drain reached out into the water. Burnt orange sunlight cast chain-link shadows on my face as I took another drag. The cement behind me held the large protruding pipe in place, and usually that's where people would sit, on that cement. But I liked the pipe. It was metallic and cold, and I liked dangling my feet off the end where it dipped into the pond. The pond was really a drainage ditch, but even so I wasn't scared of falling into the water. I did enjoy the water's color when the shadows were out, and the clouds were tinted, and the sun was reddish-orange instead of yellow. "How did you get in there?" Out of instinct, I snuffed out my cigarette on the pipe, a reflex when people caught me smoking. "Sorry, what?" I asked. But then I turned and it was only Jude. He stood below, beside the drain at the edge of the water. "How did you—" "I just hopped over the fence." Never mind." The drain was a frequent hangout spot for my classmates, but not usually at that hour. People went before school for the same reason I usually did, to smoke. People went during school, I was usually there, to skip class. People went after school, I was usually there, to not go home. It was close enough to the high school to walk, but just far enough out of range to not be noticed. I hadn't seen Jude at the drain in a while, not since earlier in the year when he and Julie had started dating. Why is it that when people started dating in high school, it's so awkward? I would see Jude and Julie, God, they sound like siblings, holding hands in the hallway. But Julie would keep a yard of space in between her and Jude, and never look at Jude, but just look at the floor and keep walking. She was strange. Jude's hands can get clammy, so it probably had something to do with that. I lit another cigarette to replace the first. "You haven't been here in a while," I said. "I don't like the new fence." "Does a great job at keeping out the school kids." I chuckled at my own sarcasm, leaning back over the water, bathing in the patchy light, tapping out a bit of ash that disappeared below. "Is there another way in?" he asked. "You can't climb?" "Does it look like I can climb?" He gestured to his body, which was nice enough. He might have been underestimating himself, or maybe he was just lazy. Probably lazy. I took another drag. "Can you help me onto the drain?" he asked. I glared. "It's really not that hard to climb the damn fence, Jude. Just do it." "It's really not that hard to help me up there so I don't fall or rip my pants." I turned away from him, letting patches of sun kiss my cheeks through the